Hello, Seiiti Arata. You're sabotaging your life because you still believe in a lie that you learned in childhood. Back then, you discovered that some parts of yourself were dangerous. Maybe you were repressing your anger, your ambition, your vulnerability, your desires. And in order to survive and be loved, your child mind created a clever solution to hide those parts and only show what was acceptable. Now the problem is that you grew up, but your mind still runs on the programming of a frightened child. That's why you procrastinate when you're close to achieving something important. That's why you sabotage healthy relationships. That's why you give up when you're near your goal. The thing is that your unconscious mind realizes that success will require you to express those forbidden parts. So it sabotages you to kind of protect you from rejection before that bad thing that it believes it is inevitable. But the truth is that the people who rejected you decades ago no longer control your life. You're now inside of this mental prison of a child who does not understand how the world works. Now let me explain to you how this mechanism operates. Imagine somebody who's been wanting to start a business for 5 years. And every time that he's about to launch something, there are some technical problems that appear and make him postpone his plans. So what's really going on here? That person grew up hearing that he wanted to avoid looking like he's arrogant. So his unconscious mind has this programming that if he stands out, people will reject him. So it sabotages before he's taking that type of risk. Imagine somebody else who now it's been like 2 years wanting a raise, but is telling herself that this is not the right time. Because in childhood, she learned that asking for things is kind of a selfish thing to do. So she does not want to be rejected and avoids making that difficult conversation. She's avoiding the risk of looking selfish. And all these repressed parts form what we call the shadow. And this includes ambition, assertiveness, spontaneity. These are traits that you're hiding. The shadow is made up of all those characteristics and emotions and talents and impulses that you had to suppress to be accepted. So you see, it's not just negative traits, it also includes your best qualities. Imagine your full personality is like a complete circle. The shadow is half of what you are afraid of because of rejection. But you also have assertiveness. In the shadow, if you reject your creativity, what's going to be happening? You are denying your ambition, your sensitivity, your spontaneity. It's all going to the shadow. The shadow does not want to disappear because you are ignoring it. It stays active underground in your mind. It's influencing your decisions. It's like having an invisible employee working against you 24/7. Every time you express something that was repressed, the shadow sounds an alarm saying, danger, you're gonna be rejected. So better to sabotage yourself. That's why you feel divided. Your conscious personality wants one thing, your shadow wants the opposite. You want to grow, but your shadow wants safety. You want to stand out, but the shadow wants invisibility. You want connection, but it wants protection. Now the irony is that the shadow was created to protect you, but now you see that it's destroying you. That old strategy of hiding to survive worked when you were like 8 years old, but now it's stopping you from living fully in your adult life. You see how it works? If you're noticing this internal split and you want to learn how to organize your real values, live more authentically, you can go to the link arata.se/planning your life. And then you can discover how you can build a life plan that is based on who you truly are, not who you think that you're supposed to be. And you're not indecisive, you're not lazy, you don't lack motivation. You're stuck in a mental civil war between your conscious personality and your repressed shadow. The good news is that once you understand that you are running some outdated software, you can learn how to integrate your shadow, and then your sabotage will stop. You can recover, you can express the parts that you repressed, but now in a more mature way, because there's no longer any type of danger in being who you really are. You can be ambitious without being rejected. You can be assertive without being attacked. You can be vulnerable without being abandoned. You can be successful without being criticized. Okay, so how can you put this into practice? I'm gonna give you a step-by-step that's gonna be simple. First thing, you need to identify exactly what was repressed. You can get a piece of paper and write these sentences. Growing up, I learned it was dangerous to be something. To be accepted, I had to hide my, and then you complete the sentence. When I showed that trait, well, people used to do this. You can write down everything that comes up. And these answers are your shadow map. Don't stop at the first answer. Keep writing until you exhaust that list. For example, if you wrote, I learned it was dangerous to be assertive. Keep on going. So what? It was dangerous to be loud. It was dangerous to be different. It was dangerous to get attention. So each sentence is like a layer of your shadow. And after you list everything, you can go to the next step, which is for each repressed trait, you can write a specific childhood situation where that belief was formed. If you wrote, wow, it was dangerous to be assertive, try to recall when that idea got imprinted in you. Did you disagree with your father? He yelled at you. Did you try to defend a classmate and then the teacher was scolding you? When you spoke your opinion, your siblings were laughing. That specific memory is how that programming got installed. And another useful tip, you have to pay attention to your procrastination patterns. Because when you delay something important, you can ask yourself, if I succeed at this, what part of me is going to show up? For example, if you keep postponing a launch of a project, it could be because success would require you to show your ambition. And then your shadow fears you being judged as arrogant. You can do this for every major procrastination. You will rediscover that this is not random. There's always a specific part of your personality that was labeled as inadequate or dangerous in your childhood. And when you clearly see what you're hiding and why, it will become so much easier for you to be reintegrating those parts. If you want the full system that has more techniques for you to identify and integrate your shadow, you can go to the link arata.se/planning your life. This self-sabotage will end when you realize that your frightened child no longer needs control over your adult life. The people who rejected you decades ago have no more control over you. It's time for you to be updating your mental software and live with your full personality.